If you've ever wondered why you get a never-ending stream of weight loss program and diet ads, well, this might be why. It's a huge market. We've discovered through the Australia Talks survey that 60% of us say we're currently trying to lose weight. Another 17% of us neither agreed nor disagreed with that statement. And there's no gender divide here. The numbers are pretty similar for both women and men. And there's a majority across virtually all age groups. But for men, that majority is strongest between the ages of 30 and 49. Women recorded similarly high results between the ages of 40 and 64. We also asked about how Australians characterise their general physical health. 40% of us said we're in good health, 20% in very good health, and 5% of us say we're in excellent health. We say we're in generally pretty good shape across all age groups, and that includes 8% of people over 75 who report to be fit as a fiddle.
Let's delve a bit more into this data with Claire Collins, a Professor of Nutrition and Dietetics at the University of Newcastle. Professor Collins, thank you for joining us. I'm sure it's not a surprise to you that 60% of respondents say they're trying to lose weight. But looking into those figures, as we heard there from Casey Briggs, there's no gender divide there. But is that what you see in practice? And also, what is the divide in terms of socioeconomics and age?
I think your survey highlighted some of the things we see, that weight-related issues are a big deal for people, particularly as they get older. And that one surprise, though, was that in the population, in general, it's men who suffer from weight-related health conditions more so than women. But you've shown that, you know, the majority of Australians are trying to lose weight. And I think COVID really has brought that into focus for people.
Mm-hmm. And why do you say that COVID has brought that into focus? Is that because it was seen to be a risk for those who would get COVID? I
think with spending more time at home and perhaps not being able to have your usual lifestyle, for people who've gained weight, they've noticed it more, probably in their clothing. But it's more than just, maybe a change in your clothing, your waistband's getting too tight. I think people may have well noticed they're not feeling so great. And that's reflected in how that only 25% of people felt their health was very good or excellent. So I'd encourage people, if they're feeling like, their weight is making them feel down, or maybe it's exacerbating some of their health problems, try and touch base with your GP and actually get some of those weight-related risk factors checked, or your health condition if it's gotten worse. For example, arthritis or type 2 diabetes or polycystic ovarian syndrome.
So another way to look at the physical health aspect that you just mentioned there is to say that overall, according to the Australia Talk survey, 75% of Australians would characterise their physical health as at least good. Is that in line with the facts?
I think people's weight-related health is actually a little bit worse than that, in fact. So one of the problems is that one of the most common diet and weight-related problems, high blood pressure, is actually totally silent. So unless you have it measured, you wouldn't even know. So some of the people who are saying their health is pretty good are likely to still have high blood pressure. So another reason to get it checked. But another reason to also focus on the food you're eating. And many people are spending more time cooking. And so trying to get more vegetables and fruit sounds really basic, but it's actually something we miss. For example, only 1 Australian in 15 actually gets to that, magic 5 serves a day, which is the target for improving your nutrition-related health and well-being.
In your work, what do you see as the main reasons that people are trying to lose weight or get healthier?
What we've seen is that it's commonly to feel better in themselves or in response to a health scare. So the advantage of focusing on that feeling better in yourself is that you'll see that improvement, and that can be relatively quickly before you might see that change in health risk factors, such as things like pre-diabetes, if that's what you've been diagnosed with. So I'd encourage people to really, take stock of what's in the pantry, for example, because the things that end up in our pantry are often the foods that are heavily advertised and marketed to ourselves. We know people are planning a bit more in terms of their trips to the supermarket. So focus on adding a bigger variety of vegetables and fruit to your weekly shopping, whole grains as well, and things like the plant-based legumes and lentils, cheap as and last really well in the cupboard.
There are always fads, and I know you do a lot of work around this. Do fads have a place here, and what are the telltale signs for you that people won't be able to stick with whatever that plan is long term?
The key aspect of a fad is that it sounds too good to be true. And if it sounds too good to be true and it's promising you'll wake up in the morning and you will have dropped a dress size, it's likely that that's a fad. Fads typically remove whole food groups, like you can't eat anything that has carbohydrate in it, for example. So we actually created a website called No Money, No Time. It's got a free diet check brief tool called the Healthy Eating Quiz. And we've put in there lots of recipes and ideas that are cheap and fast, because some of the bigger barriers in the people that we work with are limited money and limited time to actually cook, super fancy meals. But you can do that and improve your food and nutrition related health and your weight by eating healthy foods on a day-to-day basis, as simple and basic as that seems.
Yeah, good advice. Professor Claire Collins from the University of Newcastle. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.